Your visual schedule outlines the main activities of the day, but what helps students understand what's happening inside each activity? Today, we're talking about mini schedules, the visual support that breaks down the steps within an activity and answers, what are we doing right now and how much do we have left? I'm Tara Phillips, and this is the Autism Little Learners podcast, where I share simple, neuro-affirming tools to support young autistic children with compassion and confidence. Over the last few episodes, we've talked about how long a visual schedule should be, how to select the right symbols, and what to adjust when a schedule isn't working the way you'd hoped. But even when you get those pieces right, you can still run into this situation. The child transitions to the activity just fine. They walk to circle time, or they go to music class, or they sit down at the art table. But once they get there, things start to unravel. And often it's because we've answered this question, what am I doing today? But we haven't answered the question, what exactly are we doing right now within this activity? A visual schedule gives an overview of the entire day, and a mini schedule gives clarity around the moment, the activity at hand. And that distinction matters more than we realize sometimes. Let's look at this through the nervous system lens for a minute. When an activity feels endless or undefined, the brain doesn't interpret it as neutral. It interprets it as unpredictable. And unpredictability can feel unsafe. If a child doesn't know how long this activity will last, how many parts there are, whether it's 2 steps or 10 steps, is my teacher going to keep me here for 5 minutes or for 2 hours? Knowing what comes next, when they'll be finished, their nervous system may stay slightly on edge for the entire time. And when a nervous system stays on edge, it looks like dropping to the ground, fidgeting, leaving the area, escalating, repeating how much longer questions, or getting silly and dysregulated. Not because the child's being oppositional, but because escape reduces uncertainty. When we visually show, we're doing the hello song, and then 3 songs, a book, and goodbye, we're communicating something regulating. This has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and this will not last forever. And when the brain can see the end, it can tolerate the middle. Mini schedules reduce that, this might go on forever feeling, and they turn vague time into visible structure. A mini schedule is a visual breakdown of the steps within one activity. It doesn't replace your daily visual schedule, it layers inside of it. The visual schedule outlines the day, and the mini schedule, like I said, outlines the activity at the moment. You won't need one for every single activity, but they're really, really helpful for activities that have like multiple steps, involve waiting, might feel long, include sensory unpredictability, require group participation, or historically trigger anxiety for a child. That's why I use mini schedules most often during circle time, phys ed or gym class, music class, art activities, and small group instruction. Anytime something could be broken down into smaller visible steps, a mini schedule is helpful. Now let's walk through what this looks like. Students check their visual schedule and they see group or circle time. They transition beautifully, they put the picture on the landing mat, but if group is just group, it can feel undefined. Instead, you post a mini schedule, or you have one for certain children to hold, and it has a picture of hello song. It has a picture of either the exact 3 songs you're going to sing, or it could be a general song picture. So you have the hello song, the 3 songs, a book, and goodbye. Now here's the important part. As each component is completed, you take it off and it's finished. You could have a spot where you put it where it's finished. You could cover it with an all done card or just simply remove it. Now students can track progress. They can see we've done hello, we've done 2 songs, 1 more song, then book, then goodbye. Instead of group feeling like an open-ended demand, it becomes a contained experience and makes it so much more predictable. You're not shortening circle time, you're making it transparent, and transparency builds regulation. Now think about something like music class. Music class can be loud, fast, sensory rich, and socially complex. If a student sees music on their daily schedule, that's helpful. But once inside, they might be unsure. Are we singing? Are we dancing? Are we sitting? How long is this part? And a mini schedule answers that. We're going to do warm up, song with instruments, movement, goodbye song. The same applies to Phi Ed class. We're going to do hello game, obstacle course, ball toss, free play. Or art, get the paper, paint, add stickers, clean up. This is actually one of the reasons I created my visual art projects the way I did. Each project has the steps visually listed down the left side of the page. So students can see the sequence, they can anticipate what's next, and they can visually see how much is left. And that structure reduces anxiety. We'll link the visual art projects in the show notes so you can check them out. Now, let's talk about first-then boards. We hear a lot about those. At their simplest, first-then boards are mini schedules. They can show a sequence of two things: hello song, then book, match colors, then cars. But this is where we need to be careful. First-then boards are often used in a very compliance-based way. It becomes first you do your work that I want you to do, and then you earn the reward. And while that might increase compliance short term, it can shift the tone of the interaction into do this for me, then you get something, instead of here's the sequence of what's happening. A more neuroaffirming way to use first then is to think of it simply as a visual representation of two steps in a sequence. Not earn this, not if you behave, just this happens, then this happens. Sometimes both are favorite activities. Sometimes neither are. Sometimes they're neutral. So it's not about withholding, like you don't get the then until you do the first. It's about clarity. So instead of first work, then iPad, you might say first blue table, then playground, and it's just the natural progression of the day. When we remove reward framing and shift into sequence framing, the nervous system feels less manipulated and more informed. And informed brains regulate better than pressured brains. For some students, first then is enough. For others, you may want to expand to 1, 2, 3, all done. They can see what they're doing. We're doing one thing, two things, three things, then we're all done with it. Or work 1, work 2, all done. Again, the purpose isn't to control behavior, it's to create like visible edges, right? When students know how many parts there are, they can pace themselves. When we can visually see we're doing 3 things, they don't have to constantly wonder if it's going to be 10 or 20. Now let's talk about the cousin of mini schedules, visual sequences. They're similar but slightly different. A mini schedule changes depending on the activity, and a visual sequence stays the same every time. You maybe have it laminated, there's not pieces to manipulate. It's posted where the activity takes place. And it doesn't change day to day. Visual sequences are perfect for routines like washing hands, toileting, brushing teeth, putting winter gear on, arrival routines, at home maybe a bedtime routine. For example, hand washing. Turn on the water, get the soap, scrub, rinse, turn off the water, dry. The sequence doesn't change. So instead of recreating a mini schedule each day, you laminate it and post this by the sink. Mini schedules are flexible and activity specific. Visual sequences are routine based and consistent, and they work beautifully together. If you're thinking, this sounds great, but where do I even start? Start small. Pick one activity that feels consistently hard. Maybe it's circle time or art that we talked about. Ask yourself, can this activity be broken down into visible steps? Then create a simple visual strip. You can cut this strip out of cardboard and put Velcro on it. It can be really, really simple. You don't need perfection. You need clarity. Try it for 2 weeks. Observe. Does the anxiety decrease? Do students or that one student stay longer? Do transitions within the activity feel smoother? That's your data. Mini schedules are not about control. They're not about compliance. They are not about making students do more. They're about making expectations visible. They communicate you are not stuck here forever. You can see what's coming and there is an end. Imagine if you went in for your workday and you didn't know when the day was going to end, or you went into a meeting, a staff meeting, and they never told you how long it was going to be. Is it a quick 15-minute huddle, or is it one of those meetings that lasts all afternoon? Think of how you would feel. Sometimes activities at school can feel the same way for our young autistic kids. When the nervous system feels safe enough to stay, participation grows from there. If your visual schedule is working, but certain parts of your day still feel hard, mini schedules might be the missing layer. They answer, What are we doing? How much of it are we doing? And when will this end? And sometimes that's all the nervous system needs. Thank you for spending this time with me. You're doing important work, and the small supports you put into place matter. Keep leading with connection, and I'll talk to you again next week.